Hello and welcome, For Explorers. I am Rob, the For Explorer, and I'm here today with Endless Space 2, the Supremacy expansion pack. Very excited to show this, guys, to you. I'm super excited because Endless Space 2 is quickly becoming one of my favorite games of all time, and I just love it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the expansion packs and what they bring to this game. The Vultures expansion pack was the last one, was a great expansion pack. It dealt with piracy, diplomacy, and it added the Vultures, who are a very unique gameplay faction. So I really liked it, and I'm really enjoying the way that Endless Space 2 is just becoming this really great package. So with that, the Supremacy expansion now introduces the Hissho.
Blood will be spilled, sacrifices made.
Yes, blood will be spilled and sacrifices made. The Samurai Aztec chickens are here, and lordy do I love them. I've always liked the Hissho. They were my favorite expansion, or I'm sorry, my favorite race from the Endless Space 1 game, and I was actually really sorry to see them relegated to a minor faction originally with the Endless Space 2 game. And then they became, some super smart person was like, nope, the Hissho need to be a major faction. Let's do this. And the idea of them, their like war tempo, really fits them well, and I like this. I like this expansion so much. I love the faction. I didn't think I would because I'm not a big fan of the Cravers, who are also kind of like a tempo faction, but the Hissho are done really well. And let's talk about them really quick before we get back into my save game. They have the ILO citizens, which are like robots. They have this like cool religious thing about where they like want to know who their creator was, and like as all robots do. So they get +1 influence, which is great on hot, and they get religious political opinions. So they are the ones that start off on the planet with the Hissho. The Hissho also have sacred tradition, which means they don't change their they don't rebel when they change their government type. They only rebel when their obedience is really low, and they see past and destinations of fleets of empires you are at war with. So they kind of have like an idea of where your enemies are headed. So they also have observances, which every time you go through an election cycle, they have these really cool things that we're going to go into. I'm going to show you. All right, but basically, you can these new observances become available, and you can use population by sacrificing them for particular gains in certain ways. They recover resources. They have mining probes, and they collect them much faster. But they also collect Fidzi on planets, which none of the other factions do. So when you get these behemoths that we're going to be talking about, they send out mines that usually would only pick up strategic or luxury resources, but the Hissho can pick up Fidzi too, so they can add Fidzi to your planets. So good stuff, great stuff. Hey, look at that! There was a little Endless Legend announcement in my lower right hand corner. We're also pirate slayers. They do not interact diplomatically with pirates, so that whole that cool little addition that the Vultures expansion pack added. Now the Hissho don't deal with them at all, but they also gain twice as much loot when destroying them, which is great. They are behemoth builders. They'll start right off the bat with a behemoth, which is really cool because it's a good way to kind of highlight the other new expansion feature. And we're not going to start a new game. I've actually got a game started, so we're going to load it. Kind of shows off some of the stuff that's going on. That way, we're not having to like kind of click through a lot of turns to start seeing some of the cool stuff. Xenolinguistics is something they start off with, and rare earth forms or foams is also another thing they come up with. Their starting planet is called Uchi. They are a dictatorship, and they are militarist. They got some really cool ship hulls. The Roost class, the Glide class, the Claw class, the Hover class, the Strike class, and then the Climb class, and then the Dive class being the big one. And yeah, we get Juggernauts, Obliterators. These are behemoths we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So we'll select them, but we're going to actually back out and then load my save game. So we're going to go Hissho. And I'm telling you, man, these guys are just, there was a need for like another war pacing I guess you could call them a pace class, like but they're a little less. The pacing doesn't need to be quite as aggressive with the Hissho as it has to be with the Cravers, which I really appreciate because I think it's a good balance to strike. Um, right now, I've taken a bunch of these planets here. Um, Something unique to the Hissho is that when you go to colonize a planet, you actually need K, which is their new resource that you accumulate through battles. Right now, I'm gaining one per turn because um, I want to say it's one of the wonders, and I don't remember which one it is. But one of the wonders actually adds K per turn, which is why I'm gaining 1K per turn. Normally, you don't gain K per turn. Yes, there, the lower left, it says 1K from Endless Research Park and Endless World. So the wonder there gave me a K per turn, which allows me to accumulate them per turn. But the majority of what you gain is from battles, space battles, or ground combat, or even just completing quests and sometimes getting research topics done. So you'll gain that, and in the process of gaining that, you'll be able to use some of these active abilities that the Hissho have. This is the very first one off. It's going to cost you 0K, but it'll do a lot for you when it comes to the ground combat. So if you know your enemy is coming at you, you know that they're about to invade one of your planets, you have to go ahead and use that homeland defense. You click on here, and then you click on that planet system, and all these bonuses are applied. 800 max damage done to invader during ground combat, 500 minimum damage done to invader during ground, all these great things. So it's basically like this last stand, and it's really cool. It's definitely in line with what I think the Hissho would do. Next up is the War Banners. That's actually going to cost you 3K per turn, or per time you use it. It's got a 10 turn duration, and it gives 2 movement points. It gives 2 vision points. It actually makes your fleet look more powerful than it is. It's 50% apparent health. It's not actual health. It just looks like that. And so that's a cool thing to do. And on behemoths, it actually increases their movement range, their vision range, and stuff like that too. Next up is Way of the Obsidian Eagle. It actually is something I use really frequently because it's such a good bonus, but you can add 25% in industry to any planet system, and it only costs 5K, so it's not particularly expensive, and so it's something that you use very very often. In fact, I'm surprised it's not active on one of my systems right now. I want to remember which one of my systems is my main home system. I believe it is Edisir here, but what we have going here, we have the Denark University. We'll go ahead and put it here, and then you'll see that well, you probably didn't see, but here it is. You can see now that the Way of the Obsidian Eagle has increased my industry by 58.8 industry. So very good stuff. And then the last but not least, certainly, is the last K action. It costs 8. It actually does actual benefits to your ships and your fleets by adding 20% shield absorption on fleet, 20% hull plating absorption, and 20% damage. Like, that's just, if you're about to go into a battle where you're kind of like, man, that may not work, I may not make this, you throw that on there, and it's in the bag. So very cool stuff. It's something that you kind of want to keep an eye on constantly because you really want to use these. It's what helped the Hissho become more powerful. But you also need to make sure that your K stays up because your K directly results in your obedience level. So if you remember, I had 91 point something K. That is the obedience level now. So the more I use it, the lower my obedience level drops. So no matter what my K level is, it directly relates. It's directly the same number as my obedience score. So the higher the score, the more positive effects I have on my empire. Right now I have 30% dust and 30% science, which is really good. And a lot like some of the other ones, it's also a clear cut across all of my colonies. It's never going to be like 92 here or 40 here like it is with other factions. It's always going to be 92%. So it's a balancing act for sure. And sometimes you are okay dropping your K levels to slightly lower. Especially because when you colonize new planets, new systems in this game with the Hissho, you actually have to use K. So if I were to go with a colony ship to here, Calum. In fact, let's go ahead and do this so I can show you. We'll get a brood ship going. And when we get to Calum here, you're going to see that eventually I need to use K to colonize it. So the K requirements will slowly degrade to the point where it only costs, I think, 25. But they start really high. So like originally when I go there and I start to colonize this planet and I'm sending supplies there, it might cost me 70K if I want to do it day one. But it'll degrade as there's more and more supplies sent there to the point where it only will cost me 20, 25K to actually, or maybe even less. I think I've seen it at 17 even. So that's their new thing. Like I said, so the Hissho are a tempo race. You're going to want to continually fight things, which is good because the Hissho ships are very powerful. They have a couple more weapon mounts than normal. Right now, I am going to need to upgrade these guys. I didn't realize that these weren't upgraded. So I wonder how well the auto design works. No, I've never actually used the auto design. I just thought I'd try it. All right, so I got a couple titanium. We'll see how you can see like how many weapon mounts these guys have. Like I said, a lot of weapon mounts. How much do I have? I don't have many, so I should probably drop more of these here than anything else. Because unfortunately, I'm pretty low in titanium. I'll have to maybe go to the marketplace and buy some. Construction cost will still cost 11 titanium. Yeah, we'll definitely need to get some titanium going and get these things going too. So, do we have any shields? We have a shield. We'll pop a couple shields on this thing. And yeah, all right, we'll just apply it. I'm not looking at maximum build right now. I just want to throw some stuff in there. We'll also look to see if we can get some more titanium. We'll buy out the rest of this here. And we'll also start to look. We've got titanium here, and we'll be able to take titanium from this system, so we'll take that too. All right, so, and then the other thing. So let's talk about the population details too. The Hissho, they gain some more manpower per turn. They're industry related. Right now I've gained 20 of them, so they also gain an additional 15% manpower, and they're militarist people. So surprise, surprise. The ILO, like I said, they gain the +1 influence, and they are religious. So it's militaristic religious people seem to fit pretty well. And these are what they look like. They look pretty cool. We can look at the starting. I guess not from there. For some reason, I thought we could. Let's look at the starting hero. He's the skill tree for the Hissho involve a lot of bonuses to industry, and then they're very good at some fleet stuff. I mean, negative +20% shield penetration on fleet, which is great. This one's a governor, so I've really focused on his dust and his ability to fix and help the system. This is a fantastic one. So the Hissho heroes gain behemoth slots. So eventually, this is a huge thing here. And let's talk about behemoths. Let's do that. Since we're here. All right, so here, let's go ahead and just discuss the various different behemoths first. All right. Oh, it sounds cutting out a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Not sure why that is. So, first and foremost, let's talk about the research, the science behemoths. So, the science behemoths can go to any special node and create additional science output. They do that by whatever they go there, they hover, they sit in the system, and they create additional science. And you add more modules to create higher bonuses from that. So this one here, you can gain, as you can see, you gain additional effects from orbiting special nodes. You actually gain strategic resources, additional stuff from the strategic resource exploitations there. You can also terraform with these things. So this is really important later because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but when you get to the Obliterator, which is another behemoth, it's a super weapon. It can destroy an entire planet system, And the only way you can recover from that is by using behemoths to terraform and bring them back to their former glory. Well, at least partially. And here you go. So this is an additional module here that adds -3% on technology costs. And again, these are all things you can add to your science behemoths that will sit on these special nodes and create additional research, which is great. So that is the science behemoth. It's pretty important, especially for those like the Hissho or maybe even the Cravers, where they're not super science oriented. If you get a couple science behemoths, they might be able to catch up. Over here are the economic behemoths. So the economic behemoths, they actually have mining probes, which again, I think I mentioned before, you can send the mining probes down to grab strategic and luxury resources, and you can use them now with the Hissho to pick up additional Fidzi, which is important because the Hissho have a kind of a slow start. So if you're sending out your economic behemoths to pick up Fidzi and to generate more Fidzi in your planet systems, then it'll help out a lot. So these guys have this is mining probe, and another this is a planetary mining probe support module as well. You can get into the second tier here, where they start getting better mining probes. They, depending on what kind of resources you're willing to use. Again, they get all those resources that you need, luxury. So if you're somewhere in a really crappy system maybe, and you really need some more, like in this case where I need more titanium, I would go find a system that has titanium and just send a mining behemoth there and just mine the crap out of that titanium, which is something I've been wanting for so long, because sometimes it's really frustrating to be like mid to late game and you're looking for Hyperium or Quadronix, and you just can't get it because all of your new systems, all the systems have been settled, and none of the systems that you have any of it. So you can just send your mining behemoth to maybe a friendly system and just start stealing it from someone else, or just maybe there's a remote system that you can't get to yet, and you send your mining behemoth over there to start getting the quadronics for your weapons and stuff like that. So it really alleviates that pressure, that concern sometimes when you kind of feel like you're not able to get those resources you need because you feel stuck. So now you can send these mining behemoths to take care of it. Mission flexibility. So the other thing economic behemoths can do is to sit in an owned planet system and generate more Fidzi. So here, as you can see, bonuses is as you add more of these modules in the lower left, you can see that they add 10 Fidzi or 5% Fidzi in addition to what you're already producing. And all I have to do is just sit in that system. So, again, it's more flexibility. It creates a lot more flexibility. Let's come back over here. This is where you get into the citadels. So first of all, the behemoth building blueprints are here. Now, there's two ways to get to the behemoths. You can either go through a set of quests that I'm not a big fan of right now. With all due respect to Amplitude, I don't really like the requirements in that quest line. It's about gaining military text that I just don't really feel like fits the lore too well. So you actually have the option to turn them off, and I turn them off. So this is the technology you'll require in order to start building behemoths. And then as you go through that, the Citadel blueprints open up here in this quadrant. Citadels are basically like planet defense like powerhouses, okay? So they not only create this like shield that the shield is like makes it very difficult to invade the planet. It also, thankfully, will defend against, let's see which one it is. It'll defend against the superpower that is the Obliterator. Because the Obliterator, which we're going to see in the military quadrant, shoots this giant missile that fires at the planet systems and destroys the entire planet system. Pretty awful. And without these shields, you don't stand a chance. Without the shields, your whole thing is gone. But with these shields, the damage is reduced, and the Citadel has the ability to regenerate these shields too. So with the strategic resource cost, you basically can recharge these shields. But unfortunately, there's still damage being done. So the idea is you need to get to that Obliterator and kill it fast. But yeah, it's the first and only real line of defense against Obliterators. And you can keep coming down, and there's some more added bonuses here. I think, yeah, you can actually here. This is like a pretty big defense against like system fleet battles, where you actually can use citadels to blast effect battery stuff. It's pretty cool. And the rest of the bonuses from citadels are very like ground combat oriented. You basically want to put citadels at your best systems so that you don't get them taken. Clearly, there's a way to destroy them, because you can use obliterators to take them out and then maybe invade afterwards. So, but it's a nice little hard counter to the obliterators. So let's talk about the obliterators. They're up here. It's a specialization of the behemoth. It changes the way they look, and it also changes so much about the game. So once you get to the Obliterator, you can use them to fire these giant missiles, weapons that destroy systems. And it's mean. It's so mean. And AI have got me so many times, and I want to punch them in the face so hard when it happens. In fact, my last game with the Hissho, I was doing so well, but I was at war with the ratio, and they developed some obliterators, and they took out two of my best systems, and I just did not see it coming, and it was game over for me basically, because I wasn't thinking like that. It's one of the first games I've had with this expansion, and I was so surprised to see the AI use it so well to fire against my two most important systems that really just messed me up. It just totally destroyed my economy, and I was really devastated. So unfortunately, I learned my lesson the hard way, but now I'm much more oriented towards having citadels at my best stations, at my best planets. So lesson learned. So Obliterator reload, basically you have to have there is a cooldown basically on these obliterators. Thank God, because if they could just fire 4,000 rounds at everything, it would be really bad, especially in one turn. There is a turn cooldown, and this reduces it. And then over here, you actually have a speed enhancement. So those firing rounds, like you might be shooting these things from across the galaxy, and it may take 25 turns, which gives the person that the victim of these missiles time to maybe build a citadel or send a behemoth over there to become a citadel, and and that might be enough time to defend it. But if you can increase the speed of these rounds, these projectiles, the defense becomes much more difficult. I will tell you that. And on the other end of the military behemoths are the Juggernauts. Originally, the behemoths were called Juggernauts, but they were changed. And now the Juggernauts are like your military powerhouse. They are freaking absurdly powerful. They have an incredibly high HP rating. I mean, super high. You can upgrade them basically through here. They get some cool, like this one's an Ion Wave ability that instantly destroy all the fleets in the node. It's obviously got a cooldown and stuff like that. But yeah, the Juggernauts are very powerful. And throughout the tech tree, you're going to find a lot of techs that actually increase the Juggernaut's HP and stuff like that. I think this is one of them. No, this is the movement points and stuff like that. But so you can make these things just so freaking powerful. Here's 6,000 health on behemoths, and there's a few more additional health bonuses. The Juggernauts themselves start off with some 40 or 50,000 HP, and they just go way, way higher than that. So the Juggernauts are very powerful, like one-man fleets. There may be a little bit of a balance issue to me, because unfortunately when they are one-man fleets, they do occasionally get overwhelmed by maybe not significantly less powerful fleets, but they do get overwhelmed by fleets that have a lot of ships. And you know, I don't know how well I know that the devs are aware of that, so I'm sure they've been dealing with that and trying to fix it and get this stuff done. So here we go. We have an economic behemoth here. As you can see, it's adding 20 FIDSI. You scroll over here, you can see that that's part of the equation here. It says plus 20 industry from my bonus from the economic behemoth. I think I only have the one behemoth in this game right now. No, that's not true. I have one here too. So there's 240 science being produced from this. That's because it's got a couple modules. And it's helped my science. It's helped my science a lot. I'm pretty powerful right now, and it's only turn 66 on hard, and I'm the highest. I have the highest score, and that's because I've been able to keep up with the pacing. I've been able to continue my science and stuff like that, and just kept up my FIDSI output and stuff. Which the Hissho, honestly, for the first 50 turns are kind of slow. And that's because they do pick up. Their tempo starts to really pick up as wars start to break out and as they develop more of these behemoths and they pick up the K that they need and so on and so forth. So there's also some free stuff that comes with this game. I want to see if I've got any of the anomalies. So sometimes when a big battle occurs in a system now, you will the planet system actually develops new remnants, I think is what they're calling them, which basically lead to new anomalies on your planet. So instead of something like binary moons, you might have something like ancient battle, and ancient battle will actually increase like your morale there or something like that, or there may be an industry boost as a result. I think it's really cool because in cases like what's about to happen now, I'm actually invading Canis here. I've invaded it for a few turns now. Oh man, I didn't realize that I hadn't been upgrading. I need to upgrade my infantry here. So I can't, oh, that's why. But I will upgrade my armor. And then I'll probably actually change the percentages here. And then what we're going to do is, and you're going to see that this new informational screen is much different and it's so much better. It's because this is the part of the free update. So even if you don't end up getting Supremacy, which I would be, honestly, I'd be surprised if you didn't, because Supremacy is a great addition. I really like it. And I think Amplitude's expansions are really well priced. But if you don't, you would get this ground combat overhaul as well. So let's go ahead and hit one turn. And we'll launch into this ground combat, and you can see it. All right, ground combat. So here, obviously, clearly, this has changed a lot. All right, so you can start to see manpower reserves here. All right. This is okay. Let me see if I can actually understand this as much as I can. This is how many infantry troops are going to be generated to fight this time. So they have the 5 to 22 infantry, and they have another 3 to 8 tanks. This is what I'm bringing to the table. All right, so there's multipliers here based on my damaging from the preemptive bombing, and plus because I've also upgraded them. So a lot more information is being provided here. Okay, here's the reserves of manpower. Neither one of us have any reserves. I have two. Let's see. Let's make sure of this. These are the groups deployed for the ground battle. The maximum value can be affected by the chosen tactic, your technology level, and your remaining ownership of the system. Your current tactic is lowering your deployment limit. So what if I changed it? Then sorry about that. Yeah, so it's basically it helps a lot with the information that's being presented, so you can understand better about what's about to happen. I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay too much attention to it. I know that I need to upgrade my troops, and I need to consider my battle plan, and I know I need to also bring a pretty good combination. I know that like the infantry do a very good job of taking out planes. Planes do a very good job of taking out tanks, and tanks do a very good job of taking out infantry. So it's important to know what their composition is and then fill it in from there. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like a ground battle expert. So I apologize. This is also something that you're gonna notice. The numbers of the icons are actually now better represent the amount of people that are defending. So you'll actually get a better feel for how much and how big their armies are based on how many models are here. So, like, generally when you have much bigger armies, there's going to be many more soldiers and stuff here. And they also are destroyed and disappear as they should, as they're expected to. And it reflects based on the numbers too. So now you saw that I basically took out all their little infantry guys. There's one infantry guy that represents maybe 7 actual soldiers. And I took out one of their tanks. So, and then here's a great breakdown of everything that happened. All right, damage that I caused by my armored units. I had 180 damage, including a 36 bonus. The damage caused by my infantry. You can see all this in the lower left-hand corner. It's 423, and so on and so forth. The preemptive bombing actually created 477 damage. There's just so much more information here that you can help. That really helps you understand what's going on. Freaking love it. There's also the unfortunately I killed an ILO. That sucks. Yeah, and as that progresses, as you see more and more, you'll start to see it. But that's we'll do another turn. Let's build something here. Let's build this, and just get to the next turn so I can show you. So I've got antimatter, and let's go do this last battle. So, gonna fire it off, and then you'll see at the end, once we've finished this, finish it up. So there's a couple of things. You can see the Hissho. Later on, they actually will like charge with their swords at the enemy. Really cool. I've got an ILO soldier there at the bottom, and then 2 Hissho, and then my tank. Oh, I didn't win. I thought I was gonna win this time. All right, it's because they had some reserves. All right, and you know what? I might even do the like all-out fight next time, just to finish this thing. All right, so I got a pirate mark here, which is why they're here, but I can't. There's no way for me to buy it out because there's unfortunately no diplomacy whatsoever. Oh, here's a ritual that I mentioned before, which is something unique to the Hissho. In this case, I can sacrifice population to generate 50% more dust for 10 turns. This is called the Diligence Ritual. Next up, you can see over down below that, it's a Sun God's Ritual, which will allow me to sacrifice population for 50% food. And then there's a third one, and I don't remember what it is, to be honest. Man, I have not really been paying attention to my active laws in this one. I think I was just trying to get through to the point where I could show you some stuff in this game. Let's move him around. Got somewhere else that we need to take care of. We'll do interplanetary, and then we'll get back to my combat, my ground combat, because I want you to see. Oh, yep, cool. Gained. See, so with quests you also gained K, and then we gained an additional support module here, and then we're going to blitz. I think we're just going to go all out with this one. Should be enough to kill them. Gaining definitely be dealt more damage, but I think will be enough. We'll be all right. So let's go ahead and attack. This graphic makes way more sense and actually is way more fun now that it has a better representation, I think. So. Okay, I don't think the blitz worked too well. God dang it, it's just taking forever. It shouldn't take forever, but I think it's because there's just so few of my... Oh, we've got this too. I'm going to send that here while we're waiting for this combat. But there's just not enough, unfortunately. We'll send another Hawk up that way. Oh, space battle's in progress. Okay, let's take care of these guys. We'll just... you probably want to see these ship models because they're fun. So we'll go ahead and just watch this battle just so you can see the ship models. And then we'll finish this ground combat so I can show you what happens after you finish ground combat now, which is actually new and exciting. We'll skip to action. Let these guys do their thing. Looks like we're about to destroy that one. Yep. Boom! Get out of here. That's it. Done. Alright. So we've completed that. I'm going to go ahead and see about breaking off one of these Hawks just so we can get additional manpower up here and maybe make this fight a little bit faster since unfortunately I took my sweet time. Let's get these done. Ivani needs something. We'll give him some more XP per ship built, and then let's go ahead and we'll add the experience points to them. Oops. Add the experience points here, apply that, and move forward. All right. Very good, very good, very good. Please tell me this will be the last time we have this battle. Let's go and see if we can update our armies at all. No, there's no army. Don't believe we could do... No. Where's the ships? Or the aircraft? Forget where the aircraft is. I think they're actually up here, aren't they? No, there they are. That's right. Yeah, so we can't really do anything about that. There's nothing really I can do to increase my ground combat here. There's nothing that I'm remembering just now. But that's okay. Let's go somewhere else. We'll come down and we'll go to a Citadel. We'll start getting Citadel blueprints going. Alright. So maybe preemptive bombing again. So I feel like that did a pretty good job. Let's just see if we can finish this fight once and for all. Bomb, bomb, bomb. That's it. There we go. Finally. Finally. We have won this battle. So now what happens is you choose the fate of a captured system. So you can raise it. So if you're close to your system limit and you just want to get rid of it because you don't want your opponents to have it anymore, you can raise it. And with there's a few other ones. I believe the Vadyani can actually like steal souls or whatever it is they do. The Hissho though can subdue, which allows the victim planet to reset their manpower by 50%, which is pretty, it's enough. But you gain 10k, which I don't really need right now because I'm at 100. 38 dust, 1.1 titanium, and a lot of times, especially if you're going after a bigger system, a lot of these are way better. Or you can go ahead and occupy it. So I don't think it's going to hurt me to occupy it, and I don't need the K, so I'm going to go ahead and occupy it. So now Canis is mine. Mine! Last thing I'm going to show you what happens when we come over here and we take care of that. So I'm going to just queue up a couple of these things and call it a day. And we're going to get this colony ship over there so I can show you what happens over here. Objective achieved. Alright. More K that I don't need. Over around there, we get blah blah blah. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to get this almost there. Alright. We don't really apparently need too much going on here, so I'm not really worried about using any of my K actions now. So really, honestly, all I'm going to do... Oh, wow, there's a bunch of systems that need some stuff done. And all I'm going to do is just add something, just so we can get to it. Apologize for the administrative issues here, so that I can show you this final feature that I wanted to show you. And I'm sure there's something I'm missing, to be honest. There's so much going on here. Clearly, I'm not going to be able to show you how the Obliterators and the Juggernauts and all that stuff in the Citadels work. I really think that it's best that you find out by yourself anyways, because a lot of that's super cool. And a lot of that doesn't come until after turn 100 or so anyways. So here we go. We're going to colonize. Which one's better? I'm going to go with Ocean. Love this little cutscene. It's my favorite, I think, actually. I'm a big water guy. And here you go. So this is what happens. You will max out your... Or basically, I want to say this is a bad word. Because I feel like it's minimizing the amount of K that you use in 38 turns. So by 38 turns from now, it might be like 4K. And the thing is too is that I'm way over my limit here. So the more I go over my limit, the more K a planet costs to develop, to decolonize. So 38 turns is quite a long time at this point. And especially since it probably might even never drop really that low. I have a lot of K right now. I could literally just push this button now and it's colonized. I dropped to 25K, which is going to drop my obedience levels. It's here, as you can see, Defiant, and I'm not going to continue this game anyway, so it's okay. But the longer you wait, the more turns it takes for you to get, or for you to allow to elapse, the more that drops, and the more that requirement lowers. So, you know, if you wait 15 turns, it might be only 40K, and that might be pretty easy to come back from. 25K, I could come back from it, especially since I'm at war with the Vultures who started war with me. Silly people. And I could just keep using ground combat and space combat to basically hurt them and take that K back. One thing I did want to say, and I forgot to mention, is that these are the K circles, or like influence areas. I'm pretty sure that, like, if anything has a bonus to it in here, and they're within the circle, that other things are affected by the same like influence bubble. I'm not really sure what this influence bubble does. I probably should look it up. I know it has something to do with K's and behemoths, because it moves with the behemoths. Clearly, the science behemoth's over here, and it's with it. I just don't know exactly how that affects what and where and why and all that. So that's something that I guess you guys will have to figure out as well as I do. But right now, this is pretty much the overview that I wanted to give. There's a lot going on in this expansion. As you can see, the Hissho are an incredibly great race. I really like them. Even to those people that would say, oh, I don't like tempo races, I think the Hissho have a great balance. They spend a lot of time in like the VIP beta process, and there's a lot of fleshing out to do, which really created a better race, a better faction. The only concerns I have right now for Amplitude, or I'm sorry, well, yeah, I guess for Amplitude, is that the behemoths, I feel like, should all have faction colors instead of all being colored red. Right now, they all have, they're all colored red, because I know what I understand the story lore reasoning behind that is because they're all sort of like, they're all endless, like, relics that were, you know, backwards science using I forgot the word I'm looking for, but basically we're taking them and we're like using their science and then applying it and figuring out how they do it, and for some reason the word is completely escaping me. But yeah, so they are taking them and making them their own. And so I guess it's like reverse engineering. There you go. They're reverse engineering them, but I still don't understand why, if they're reverse engineering them, they're not making them their own color. So every behemoth is red. The cool thing is they do have different looks as they become different specializations. The economic and science ones don't, but the juggernauts and the obliterators do become much more warlike looking. Yeah, so that is that. I really hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you understand a little bit more about what the Supremacy expansion pack is about. I freaking think it's a great expansion pack. Again, the $12 price point or $13 price point that they usually put these things on is just so good for what this is. It's game changing the way the behemoths interact with AI players and the way you interact with the obliterators and the citadels. It's just, it makes the game much better, in my opinion. It doesn't require much micromanagement. I don't like micromanagement I like a little bit. I just don't like a lot. And the behemoths don't add that much, which is very important to me. So, and they add a lot of cool flavor and a lot of cool strategic and tactical decisions that just weren't there before. So, my hat's off to Amplitude. I am 100% a fanboy. I'll admit that 100 times over. But I do think that the Supremacy expansion pack is worth money, especially to those who enjoy Endless Space 2 or anything Amplitude's doing, because they for me are top of the line. They're probably my favorite developer of all time. So thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, or things you want me to show, I could probably make a follow-up video to show anything that I'm not showing and maybe totally forgot about. So if you notice something like that, let me know. Just don't call me a jackass, because I'm sorry. I'm just trying to do my best. But until then, thanks for watching, guys. Keep exploring, and I'll talk to you next time. See you.